Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of What the Fuck Friday.
What the flap?
What the flap? What the flappy? We're here to talk about I think it's 2000. Let me make sure. It's either 99 or 2000. What's MMII? Is that 2002, right?
2000, yeah, I think so.
2002. Well, it says 2002. I think it came out in 2000. It might even came out earlier because they had a thing called Vulgarthon, and Vulgar was the first movie on it. So that's what we're talking about here. Is I guess 2002 will count that because that seems to be the year Lionsgate put it out. But it's been around, shot a while back. I think it was shot in like 97, I want to say.
Part of the View Askewniverse.
So Kevin Smith, made Clerks, and that made a lot of money. And part of the deal with Clerks, if I'm correct, is that, once it got made, is that the Miramax actually gave him, I think it was $200,000 or something, some extra money to go and make their own movies, independently. So they produced, I don't know if he produced Drawing Flies, but he became friends with those guys. I think he produced Drawing Flies because it is under the View Askew thing. So maybe that. They did A Better Place, which we're eventually going to do on Indie Film Cafe. This would have been on Indie Film Cafe, and even Paul was shocked I didn't put this on Indie Film Cafe. And the only reason I didn't is because it's a what the fuck. And I'm not very good at finding what the fucks as well as he is. So this is one of the biggest what the fuck movies I know.
Still think that James L. Edwards, this has your name written all over it. You need to see this movie if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do a Patreon only with James L. Edwards watching it.
I think he would appreciate it.
So basically, he did A Better Place. They did Big Helium Dog, which was Brian Lynch's movie, and I saw a bunch of them in Vulgarthon 2002. So this movie came out, I guess right after Vulgarthon 2002. So, but I saw it in the theater. So he was like, "This movie was in the theater." Is that the Vulgarthon? So I got to see it on the big screen, and it was just fucking wonderful. I loved it. Basically the story is, I'll read the back of this right now.
Guy becomes Flappy, Flappy becomes Vulgar.
Flappy takes revenge.
Flappy takes revenge. Well, I wish he had. Leaves you hanging.
A once ridiculed and downtrodden clown elevates to celebrity status when he saves a girl from a hostage situation, but being a household name soon brings his skeletons out of the closet. Pretty much that really does sum up that movie. So it starts out this guy, Will Carlson, who's played by Brian O'Halloran.
He wasn't even supposed to be there that day.
Yeah. Actually, he was supposed to be there. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So he is basically this, I don't know, out of work, basically clown. He doesn't really have that much, going on. And he's such a schmo. He's such a
he gets shit on by pretty much everyone.
And he just kind of lets them shit on him. He doesn't stop them. He has a mom who treats him like crap. I mean,
neighbors treat him like crap.
The only people who like him are his best friend Sid. I think that was his name. Sid, and as well as
Bryan Johnson.
Bryan Johnson plays Sid, and his basically his landlord. There's the only two people who actually seem to like him or whatever, treat him nicely.
Mr. Mosier?
Yeah, Mr. Mosier. I loved his character. I love that guy.
Funny.
I love that guy.
Someone's stealing my utilities.
Yeah, someone's stealing my utilities. It was great. So anyway, so he's getting this thing, and he comes up with this idea. Why don't I do bachelor parties and kind of just, surprise people, and then the real entertainment will come.
Disappointing bachelor party surprise.
He fucks it up, seriously, because the first thing I think he knew that he was going to do it for 3 people. What did he expect was going to end up happening? There was going to be a joke, and the people are going to go, "Where's the real entertainment?" And then they would have called somebody else. What you have to do is, if you do that, you get in line with another, with a stripper.
We
right?
have a backup, is what you do.
Well, you have a girl, a stripper, that is going to be the other actual live
Right.
entertainment.
You
that comes
function
with
as
you.
the opening act.
You can function with the opening act, and then you work with them. You become like a duo. This way, like, this does not happen. So he goes to this apartment or hotel or whatever it was, and it turns out there's three guys, and a father and two sons. And the two sons are like literally like children, even though they're in their
One of them
30s
is
and-
Ethan Suplee, who finally got to see the sailboat.
Yeah, Ethan Suplee was so fucking amazing. I love that guy. But it was so weird to kind of see him in this like really
And
darker
I know
role.
that other dude from somewhere else. I've seen him.
So Matthew Mather or whatever, he was in Jersey Girl. He's been in a few other things.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But
face.
I'm sure, yeah. He kind
got
of
that
sounds
Harold thing
like
going on.
Woody Harrelson a little bit. He kind of reminds me of that. Reminds me of him. But anyway, he was wonderful. And even though they're obviously scumbags, and the main guy in it, Jerry Lukowitz. I don't know, but he's the one who plays the main, the father.
Never seen him before.
Yeah, and he was great because like not many people would probably agree to do this. Do this movie.
Yeah, they're perverts.
Yeah, I mean they're terrible people, horrible. And so anyway, they end up raping him, which is
As
probably
you do. Rape a clown. No,
as I hope you don't.
It's
do.
a,
I
it's
hope
a
you
normal
don't
day
do.
in Jersey. Come on. And the view is skewiverse.
It was terrible. But interestingly enough, I just realized that one of the nurses in the movie is it's his Nurse Ratchet.
Yeah.
From what's it what's it? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yep.
That was a nice little reference. And she apparently was played by Paris Patrick, who was in Chasing Amy. So there was a lot of people. There was a lot of crossover, a lot of cool things. There's a cameo by Scott
Smith is
Mosier.
in there.
Well, Scott Mosier plays Scotty, and he's got his own it's like Geraldo basically show. And then there's Kevin Smith plays a TV producer who's looking for the next big thing, and turns out Flappy's the next big thing because he saves a little girl from her psychotic father who's holding her hostage just because of divorce papers. I guess that's what happens in Jersey. I don't know, but that's a little nuts. I mean, but Scott Schiaffo, who was the Chuli's gum representative from Clerks, plays that guy, and he was fucking phenomenal.
I wish there had been a Chuli's reference. That would have been fun.
Yeah, there wasn't. But there was a Clerks reference because there was a number 37 was the apartment or hotel room, whatever it was, that he got. Like, 37 gets a lot of bad references.
And you noticed that when I was reviewing films previously, I was always saying 37 showers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, 37, So, anyway, so he saves the little girl, gets a lot of attention.
Don't forget Jason Mewes also pops up.
And Jason Mewes does do a cameo, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Kevin Smith discovers him and says, hey, I'm gonna bring this guy to, stuff. And I believe he's in bed with Dave Klein, I want to say, which I thought was really funny. Then later, he's talking to his boss, I guess, his boss at the, I think it was his Gil. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to Gil, and Gil is...
Gil Hodges.
And he's talking to Gil, and he says, Gil, we've got this new guy, we got this idea, Flappy's Funhouse. This will be big. And Walt Flanagan is there with him.
And I guess the idea is that he passed on Barney.
Barney, yeah. So. It's like, remember, it's like, I don't bring up that purple dinosaur.
Right. So you owe me a chance, basically.
Yeah. Basically, come on. You don't want to pass up something else. So they decide to put a clown on TV, and they give, Will the shot, and Mom still doesn't believe he can do something big.
What a piece of shit. Yeah,
she's such a horrible person. Then basically it becomes like more about the then he becomes famous, and he's all over the place. He's they're gonna make a movie, Flappy's the Funhouse movie, which I thought was kind of cute. And then all of a sudden, the father finds him out and
he's
calls him up.
Too famous because now the guy who raped him sees him and decides he's gonna squeeze him for cash.
Yeah, he's gonna extort him for cash, and then wants him again, and so he kind of makes him come in there, and that's when we meet Jason Mewes because Bryan Johnson comes and gets guns, and they go to kill the guys, but things still don't work out the way it should because this is just not what they do or anything.
Flappy's a little incompetent when it comes to revenge. I guess he's never had that before.
It's so funny because you said when I said Flappy takes revenge, you were like, he almost takes revenge, basically.
Almost. Yeah, that's my only issue with the film is that it sets you up so that you can get some of that sweet, sweet, sweet revenge. Because typically that's what happens. Most of the movies you see in this kind of subject matter, it's a female who gets raped, and it's a female who ends up getting revenge. So this goes all the way back to I Spit on Your Grave and all kinds of traditional exploitation kinds of movies.
And I think what makes this movie more what the fuck, period, is that it doesn't end that way.
Right.
It changes things up where you think this is going to happen. You think, oh man, he's finally going to do it. He's going to shoot the guy. Everything's... And the guy has a heart attack and dies. And he's still, and of course he doesn't shoot him, so he's not a murderer at that point. He's he hasn't murdered any of these guys. Right. So technically he never murdered anybody. So, and neither did...
Ethan Suplee just shoots himself in the head because he's too stupid.
Yeah, he's messing with the gun. He's like, what? And, because he didn't think there was, any bullets in it.
Right, and then the robber ends up shooting the other guy.
Yeah, this robber comes in and grabs Sid and shoots, ends up shooting. So there's a lot of violence.
So, it sets you up, but it kind of pulls the rug out from under you. And then, of course, the other thing is that this is a gender swap. Generally, you don't see men in this role getting raped and then having to go through this emotional torment about what should I do? I don't want to do this. I just want to forget it. I want to move on. But at the same time, I also, feel horrible about myself and I want revenge. And that was really, really cool. And I was telling Moody earlier about how it's a very interesting how 20 years ago, this movie kind of came, because I never heard of it, didn't even know about it, sort of came and went. But today, especially with Me Too, I think this would have gotten a lot more coverage and would have been a lot more effective, and it's kind of ahead of its time a little bit. I sort of enjoyed that,
which was amazing. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I hadn't seen it in a while. It's not because we've talked about this before. There's some movies that Paul will show people or something, and he'll say, I can only watch this like we just did Henry the Portrait of a Serial Killer, and he's like, oof. I can only watch that movie like every once in a while, like maybe 6-7 years or something. This movie's kind of like that, my version of that, because like that movie, Henry's Portrait of a Serial Killer, I don't think I'll ever watch again.
There's very little humor in that particular
I know
movie.
It's really dark and just like not, and honestly not fun. This movie had a little bit more fun.
This movie could have been Flappy, Portrait of a Serial Clown, if he had actually gotten his revenge.
Yeah,
that would have been
something. Funny. But I'm glad he wasn't. I'm glad we didn't go. They didn't go that route. Yeah. But Michael Rooker,
as a clown,
that would have been interesting. That would be more Dahmer,
I could see him playing the daddy role too.
Isn't that Dahmer? Dahmer was the clown, right?
Yeah.
So anyway,
so usually it's the clown that's the one who's the killer, and this time it's the victim, which is interesting too.
So it's an interesting little film. I mean, it was edited by Scott Mosier and Bryan Johnson. Actually, let's go back. I do want to talk about that about the whole thing that you were talking about with the 2020 and 2000. So we were discussing it, or this. I guess this is technically 20 years old. So wow, that's weird. And to think not many people have heard of this movie. This is a cult film. Like there are people who have heard of it. There are people who hate it. I did interview Brian O'Halloran once, and he said his girlfriend was at first like adamantly against him doing this movie. Because
she was in the movie.
Yeah, I believe she had like a cameo in the movie, if I'm correct, as like the if I like as one of the girls in the audience or something, then Scotty. But I'm not sure. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on that. But yeah, apparently like I think she might now be his wife or something, but she had a problem with the movie, and I'm sure
role.
a lot of
role.
people would, and I think even Bryan had an issue at first of like, should I do this movie? Like, should this be my next movie after like working with Kevin, on all these, like, is this the movie that might help me? And it honestly, it did show a different side. And as you were stating, when he was going through kind of the stuff, the aftermath of the rape, it reminded you of how, how it would have been a woman. And this is how a woman would have reacted, sort of thing. Not saying Bryan O'Halloran is a woman, but, like, his character it sort of was a gender swap. He was sort of, the exact opposite of what normally it might have happened with guys.
Yeah, typically it's the female that's put in the victim role for this, even though men also get raped. It's usually not touched on too often in most films. American History X is kind of the only one I can think of where that happens.
Well, it wasn't Irreversible or something?
No. But and then the only other one would have been the one with John Voight and
Deliverance.
Deliverance, yeah.
Which this did have a Deliverance feel.
Did have
to
a
it
bit of a
bit.
Deliverance vibe to it.
Except they weren't like was it yokels who or whatever, they were just fucked up.
Well,
people.
and then there is a good amount of black humor that's also in the film too. So that's a little different than most of these other movies too, because none of them have any humor in them whatsoever.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like straight and very like fucked up and whatever.
So the tone, to me, that's what makes it a more what the fuck film, is that the tone shifts back and forth. So it kind of
does it so well.
It does it well. That's a difficult, tricky thing to do, to balance the subject of rape and revenge with black humor. That's a very, very tough place to go. So kudos for doing that.
Yeah, and doing it, like I said, like doing it well. And really
that's
love it.
why I think James L. Edwards would appreciate it, because of the
like
whole
her
thing.
name
Her name was Krista.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of people say they look alike, Bryan O'Halloran and James L. Edwards.
Yeah, I can see that.
I saw it when I saw, because when usually he has like a goatee or something.
We got to have them both in a scene together. I mean, that would be so
like
perfect.
brothers.
Yes,
that would be perfect. I think people have said they wanted to cast them together.
Well, we should do that. That'd be fun.
But Kevin Smith looked like he was having a ball playing his character.
So young, had all his hair.
Yeah, he had all his hair. I mean, he just looked like at that time that he was on top of the world and everything. So I loved seeing it. It was just a flashback to like the good old days when they were just making movies because they enjoyed making movies.
Happy, chunky Kevin Smith.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe nowadays he's healthier or whatever, I guess, and he's doing what he loves, but he's kind of going through his midlife crisis film stuff where he's doing the films that he wants to make because he wants to make them now. And you know what? Fucking God bless you, Kevin. Like, period. But he went through stages, I think, where he was only doing it because it's what the fans or what these people,
Right.
Now he's doing what he wants to do.
Yeah, I think Tusk got him out of that, which was good.
Yeah, that was his first of his midlife crisis movies. So wonderful.
And if you're a big fan of the View Askew verse, which we both are, you definitely have to check this movie out. It's very interesting. It's great to see these folks stretching from what you normally would see them in, typical comedy kind of stuff. Because this was a very cool film for that in that case.
Yeah.
Pure
so
fans.
I mean, it's a View. Okay, I forgot to mention this from the very beginning. So I was telling Paul earlier that basically how this all came to be was one day, I think it was Bryan Johnson and Kevin Smith just chit-chatting about the beginning animation is like this guy with this clown
in
with
Clerks.
in Clerks with this clown with the girder belt and stuff and all this stuff, and he's like basically wiggling his ass in front of this kid. Now he doesn't touch the kid. He doesn't there's no. People called it like a child molesting clown or something. He doesn't even touch the kid. So whatever. Screw you people who diss on it. It's just
Fat, pimply butt, hairy butt.
It was something
face.
Walt Flanagan made as the View Askew logo.
Right.
So for the longest time, the View Askew logo, and I don't know if it's still on here or not, but was like basically the clown.
Can I see the box?
Yeah, was basically a clown and it's a View Askew. So the clown was Vulgar the Clown, and so they were like, okay, what can we do? And I think Bryan Johnson pitched an idea of how to make that, thing. And he was like, all right, you're making it because Kevin Smith was like, I don't want to make this movie. This is not my story, to tell or whatever. And so they paid Bryan Johnson to go make it. And this was like his first and I think only movie. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure only.
I mean, I don't know how many other revenge clown movies one has in them, but he got this one done, so there you go.
But I really loved it. Like it stuck with me the first time I watched it. It was really like that was something after View Askew, the Vulgarthon, that me and my friend who came up from Virginia to Jersey to see it, were like, oh my god, like we had stuff to talk about for that because it is such a fucked up movie. And it's, like I said, it's something I've seen probably about, 6-7 times. But, it's not 6 and 7 times in a row. I don't watch this, then go do something and watch it again. It takes a couple years.
And round of applause to Ryan O'Halloran. I mean, what a good performance. He was really, really good.
I absolutely love Brian in it. And Brian Christopher O'Halloran.
If you've only ever seen him in Clerks and, those kind of films, this will be, this will be kind of an enlightenment for you, a moment of enlightenment. He can definitely do some acting, and he can definitely stretch beyond those roles.
Dave Klein, the DP, is now working for Disney, so, doing the Star Wars stuff, so good for him. He's moved on to, a bigger paycheck and doing what he loves to do.
That's good.
And at this time, Clerks and Chasing Amy and Mallrats and were the only ones he had done, except for this, and I think that's about it. So he was amazing and did a phenomenal job in this. I thought the camera work was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good.
Everything was good. I don't think there was anything. I mean, Paul thinks the ending with him not getting the thing is about the weakest part.
It
but
sets you up for such sweet, sweet clown revenge. And even the cover art, if you can see that, where he's in the clown makeup and he's got the gun pointed at the guy. I mean, it's setting you up for certain expectations which don't come. And I understand, pulling the rug out and changing your expectations is kind of cool. But at the same time, you feel bad feel bad for the guy. You want him to get his revenge, and he really doesn't. But, and that's the other thing is, towards the end, when you see him doing his Flappy show, there's no struggle about that. There's nothing about that not really, happening the way he wanted it to. There's no regret there, which would have been something I think most people would have felt. I mean, he does react at the scene where the guy dies, but he just kind of goes on. You would think something like that would change him just as much.
Well, maybe it did, and we just don't see it in his last performance as Flappy.
It's possible.
Because it's sort of I think the ending of the movie with him, kind of going, and I'm just, and I'm not.
He's happy to be Flappy.
Yeah,
is that what you're saying?
He's like, well, it's over. He doesn't have to worry about that thing. He got everything he's always wanted. It's over now.
But the revenge that he was deserved.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. He didn't get it. He's not wanted for murder because he never murdered anybody. Right. So there's nothing tying him. They got rid of the camera.
Yeah, maybe that's more about me. It would have eaten at me that it came so close to have gotten my revenge and was stolen from me.
I think there was an idea at some point for a Vulgar 2, but I'm not sure. But it would have been interesting to see where Vulgar,
So are there extras? Is there commentary and stuff?
Yes, and actually there's a bunch.
Oh, great.
There's a documentary on Dogma that they weren't able to put on the actual Dogma thing. So since it's Lionsgate, they put it on here.
Okay.
Called Judge Not and Defensive Dogma. And then there's deleted scenes, production commentary. So Kevin Smith's on that
Okay.
with Bryan and Bryan, and I think Walt and a few other people. There's stills, interactive menus, scene access. So
Because I could see a Vulgar too. I could see where this character, after 20 years, it's eating at him that he never got his revenge, and eating, and somewhere along the line that has to snap. You know what I mean? I could definitely see it happening. You know, I don't know. It would be kind of interesting.
yeah,
I don't know that they would revisit those characters or that story, but there's a room. There's a bit of room in there for that.
if they did, I would watch it.
Yeah, I'd watch it too.
Which okay, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know what you would think about this movie. Because it is it's very Kevin Smithy with the dialogue.
Yes.
There's a scene with Sid and Will in the diner shop, and they're just chit-chatting, and it's this conversation that sounds very much like people don't actually talk, which, I mean, I don't know
It's a little
if
contrived.
I don't know if that was, see, it made me wonder, because Kevin Smith sort of has dropped that, in light, years later, he stopped doing that, but in the beginning, in Clerks, people talk like that.
Sure.
In Mallrats, not so much. They might have a few big words, but really nothing like too crazy. Chasing Amy probably had a little bit of that too, because of the way the characters were.
Right.
Oh, we forgot to mention also there was references to Ben Affleck
Oh yeah.
and stuff. There was
That's
a
funny.
Benny Affleck that he was going to go see and stuff like that. They threw a lot of references to the fans. And so this was definitely a fan movie.
Which is nice when you have a built-in audience like that.
Yeah, you can
On
just
the
throw
other
in.
hand, you also have to sort of, nod your head and wink your eye at them a little bit here and there.
Yeah. So there you go. But so the dialogue, I think, just sort of was, I don't know if that was how Bryan Johnson kind of wanted to do it, or if he wanted to sort of make it fit with the View Askew,
I think he probably wanted to make it fit more of the View Askew, because that's where the black humor comes in, because they could have gone in a grittier, darker Portrait of the Serial Killer kind of direction had they wanted to. The narrative would have supported that, but they chose not to do that, and
I'm glad that they chose not to do that, because
would have been interesting either way.
I think the humor is what I remember there's so many quotes in it that I actually know, and I can quote back to the TV when I'm watching it. There's so many funny lines in it. I really just enjoyed the movie. It's sort of messed up to think of course I don't enjoy the rape scenes and stuff, and that stuff is, if you are triggered by rape scenes, do not watch this movie. This movie is pretty, cringy.
I mean, yeah, it's not great, but it's not worse. It's not irreversible, that's for sure.
But like you said, it's one of those things where you watch a sort of a movie like this, and you're going in there kind of thinking about the way that our society is, or whatever, and the things that people, people, this could easily be made today, or whatever, and remade or whatever, and it would work. I think it would work better, especially with the Me Too movement and stuff that's going on.
Well, there you go. Maybe now's the time for Vulgar 2. You never know.
Maybe. So, Bryan, 20 years later, why aren't you making why isn't Vulgar 2? It should be,
there you go. Flappy's Revenge.
It's Vulgar 20 years later, and we get Flappy's real revenge.
Mm-hmm.
He finally gets, I don't know how, would he get revenge?
Well, the only way it would happen is if Flappy has gotten married and has a kid, and somebody messed with his kid.
Ooh.
And then all of this stuff that he had successfully buried over the last 20 years now comes to the surface. And, that revenge that he never quite got, this is the opportunity, and he's not letting it go a second time.
They did have a really terrible scene. I mean, not terrible badly done or anything, but just terrible in general. Scene with the kid, the little kid, and that was just cringy. You don't really see much of them doing anything, but it's still it's still like heartbreaking and scary and all of that stuff all in one, like, but it was showing how much of a monster the father guy is, and like, I'm just like, oh my god. And how does he have a wife or whatever? Like, oh my goodness, it's just terrible.
Codependency is a crazy thing.
But the mother and the daughter that are just the cutest. That was just the cutest scene in the world. Like, them like, I like and love Flappy. Or,
I know. I almost expected her to have a Happy Scrappy Hero pup tape right there. That would have been fun.
Maybe she did. I don't know. Happy Scrappy.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, thank you guys for checking this out. Did we miss anything? I don't think so.
No, but this movie is available on Amazon, right?
I believe Amazon.
Is it streaming anywhere?
I don't think so, sadly. No. It should be, but I think people like Tubi may not take it and stuff like that.
Well, search it out because it's worth checking out, especially if you're a fan of the View Askewniverse. I think you guys would enjoy that.
Yeah, I feel like it should be. So definitely check it out and let us know what you guys think. And if you haven't seen it, we just spoiled the shit out of it. So
we need to get Brian O'Halloran on our spotlight show. I need to talk to him because I'd love to hear what he has to say about acting in that role.
I have interviewed him before and stuff. We talked a little bit about Vulgar, but not much.
Okay.
I did ask him if his girlfriend was really mad about that, and he said yes, she was. Because
she should be proud. I thought he did a really good job.
No, I think she's proud
what a
after,
stretch.
But I think like reading the script, it was really dark.
What a stretch. I mean,
kind of fucked up.
Not that stretch, but you know what I mean.
It's a really fucked up part, thing. So I mean. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this, and let us know what you guys think. If you guys have recommendations, next month is going to be Paul's episode, and it's the last one of the season.
Oh my goodness!
So I'm scared.
We'll have to go out with a bang.
Yeah,
man.
he always picks something crazy for the last thing.
Me?
So, yeah. So there you go.
The greasy clown strangler.
Oh my god. Anyway, thank you guys for checking this out. Hope you guys enjoy it, and check us next month for a whole new What the Fuck Friday.
Bye.
Bye.
Greasy clown strangler. I like that.